Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our fourth part in our four-part series on leadership, on the growth series. Super excited to finish on a massive high with the amazing Helen from LinkedIn. This is going to be talking about the building blocks for a strong voice on LinkedIn. I talk about it quite a bit about, for agency growth, and we've heard about it all the way through this four-part series. For agency growth, you need to have a strong voice on there because people need to know your brand if they're going to engage with you. So it's super important. And we've got the expert in it here talking about how to do it and how to do it well. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over to Helen to take things over.
Thank you very much, Sam. Good morning, everybody. It's so nice to be here. Sam, not afternoon, just morning so far. Lovely to be with you today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Helen Girdlestone. I work across the agency business for Australia and New Zealand, and I'm a long-term fan and supporter of the IMAA. Love you guys. So thank you very much for having me today. We're going to keep it punchy today. We've got about 45 minutes. And I really hope that this session, no matter your sophistication on LinkedIn on the call today, will give you a little bit of food for thought. So if you do nothing on there at the moment, it might help you to sort of think about how you can create your profile to be a little bit more, help it stand out a little bit more. If you are very sophisticated, you use it prolifically. Hopefully I'm giving you some food for thought to help you audit your profile and see if it's as tight as it could be, and if you are standing out in the way that you think you are. So let's get stuck into it. But before we go any further, I just wanted to remind everybody that we did a Connecting the Dots sessions. I think it was a couple of months ago now at the LinkedIn offices. That was led by our favourite French Madame Jenny Wagner. We've had a super difficult couple of weeks at LinkedIn over the last little period where we had quite a big restructure across the team. And unfortunately, Jenny is no longer with the LinkedIn business, which we are very, very devastated about. She has made a huge impact on the indie business in her time here. So feel free to reach out to her to say hey, but I just wanted to let you know that unfortunately she's not here today, but I'd like to thank her for all she's done and for setting up this session for us as well. So I'll step in and try my very best to do even half as good a job as what she would have done. So when we did the last session on Connecting the Dots, we brought to you some research, which was all around the power of buyer group buying. It's something that we did with the Bain & Co team. And it was all about sort of that buying cycle for B2B. And top line for anyone who wasn't there, I'm not going to go into the detail on it, but we talked a lot about what that B2B buyer group cycle looks like. And we talked about how, yes, we know our target buyers, but actually there's an entire layer of hidden buyers that you may not have even realised you needed to influence as well. So where that led us to with a lot of the findings was that indeed brand is exceptionally important. I feel like I've been talking about this forever at LinkedIn, but the reality is that it's not going to go away. And a brand is incredibly important for not just the clients you represent, but not just for the business that either you are the founder and CEO of or that you work for, but also just for you and your own personal brand and how you can help develop your career over time in a really wonderful and fabulous industry that is the media and advertising sector. So this brings me to why we're here today. So one thing that we know is absolutely fantastic at building brand, because we see it day in, day out in the platform, is thought leadership. There are many, many ways in which thought leadership can help you sort of build that brand. It gives you the market consideration, all the things you see here. It will help you fill that funnel. It will help you with talent attraction and make people feel really proud to be working at your company. The lifeblood of agencies, independent agencies, is the ability to win new business and to retain that business. And so people are finding that when they actually do employ this method and they get really quite like they do it in a very meaningful way, they're beginning to sort of see and reap those rewards, up to 14% return of investment. Remember, you can do a lot of this organically to start. And some from the Harris poll have said, well, not some, the average was that about $2.7 million value was added to their business each year when they did employ this tactic. I'm not going to labour on these points. I think we all know that it's super important to really dabble in thought leadership, and it is becoming more and more prevalent that if you are an executive in any kind of business, but particularly in a B2B business, you absolutely must employ this tactic because people expect to hear from you. They want to hear from you, and it will build trust. It will build interest in your brand, and it will help to drive favorability. We have umpteen reports on this. This is just one that we've taken from Edelman, proving out why thought leadership is so important. But if you need more or you're not convinced yet, give me a shout, connect with me on LinkedIn, and I will absolutely put some really good kind of theory in front of you around why that works. So that takes me to what we're going to talk about today, which is all about elevating your personal brand and building those blocks and infrastructure to help you have the best presence on the platform that you can have. Happy to take any questions throughout. Beck, Sam, I actually can't see the chat. So any questions, I'm happy to go through at the end if we've got time, or you can give me a shout afterwards. No problem whatsoever. I'm going to talk about building your brand and something to think about. I'm going to talk about how you can then use that to cascade and align your brand the whole way through your profile and what you do on the platform when you represent your brand, not your bland, your brand. So let's dig in. I sent round a wee document yesterday to Sam and Beck. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but in the invite for today's meeting, there is just a little handy LinkedIn resource to help you think about what you're going to do today. So all you need is yourself and a little bit of self-reflection, this little handy resource, or just a blank piece of paper and something to write with. So dead easy. It's not going to be labour intensive, but it will give you just a wee second to stop in a very busy workday and think about yourself. So let's jump into thinking about building your brand. I've talked about this so many times as I've been at LinkedIn, but have you searched yourself lately? Have you gone on to Google and just popped your name in? Some people will, some people absolutely will not have. I did mine last night when I was finishing off this deck. And it is always, when you put your name in and Google yourself, 9 times out of 10, it will always be your LinkedIn profile that pops up right at the very top of that feed, or at least it will be in the top 3. It will be above Facebook, it will be above Twitter, it will be above Instagram, because you've got your real name there and it can find you quite easily with the search mechanisms. Now, that is your very first digital footprint of your brand and your reputation on the internet, right? That is extremely important. And when you come to LinkedIn, we will give you the canvas for you to build on that brand and for you to control that narrative about how people see you on there. Because before you walk into a pitch room, before you even get invited to pitch, you can bet your bottom dollar that people will have gone on to LinkedIn and they will have searched your name, they will have searched your business, and they will be looking to see if you've got the skills and credentials that they need to propel their business forward. So like it or lump it, like it or not, it's really important that you do have a strong showing on the LinkedIn platform, and we give you the tools for you to be able to own that narrative and to shape what people see. So imagine that you have this big digital billboard. That is LinkedIn. That's your shop front. That's the first thing that people will see. And what we know to be true from just, seeing what people do on the platform and how they use it to their advantage is that it is the one place where you can use the tools that we give you to help build out that brand. It's not just a social platform, it's a stage, it's where people will come to see what you think about things. And the personal brand piece is incredibly important, because a lot of the time I see on LinkedIn, people will just put underneath their picture, they have their name and then they just have their job title. That's actually not what that little piece is for. That's actually for your personal brand statement. That's where people get to see a little bit about you, not necessarily about what your job is. And that is what is going to make you stand out on the LinkedIn platform. And that is where you start. When you start there, you can begin to build everything else around that, because if you think about what you put there and how that represents you, that gives you the anchor point you need to actually be pretty authentic on the platform. And if you're more authentic, if you begin to share your personal experiences a little bit more on there, people can connect with that, it's relatable, and you begin to build your sphere of influence. So when we think about personal brand, what is your personal brand? Your personal brand is what people will say about you when you're not in the room. It's what you think. It's what things are important to you in your professional life, right? It's what your personal attributes are, your values, your drivers, your strengths. It is very important that that personal brand represents you, and then people can see how your role fits into that personal brand. The mistake a lot of people make is that personal brand is just their job, and that does not stand out. That sort of falls into a bucket of just, a lot of corporate, words and jargon that people just don't identify with, and they just kind of like scroll on. So this is your part. This is your little bit to help you stand out, and then everything else should flow from there. So here are just some personal brand statements that I thought were pretty cool when I was updating this yesterday. These brand statements are all different. They all take different forms. I put the ones that I thought were most standout on here, but if it's up to you what you put there. A lot of people have, for example, we've got Anthony Albanese. He's got Building Australia's Future, but he also had a little dash and then he had Prime Minister of Australia. That's okay if that's what you want to do. Not a problem at all. You can have your job title in there if that's what you want to do. But look how powerful some of these are. Cindy Gallop, who's a very famous advertising executive, hers is, I like to blow shit up. I'm the Michael Bay of business, right? She's showing you there how she likes to operate, how she likes to disrupt, how she's happy to put forward the contrarian view if she thinks it will help you create something much more unique. Daniel Ricciardo, Chief Optimism Officer, driver of fast cars, proud West Australian. He's not saying one thing there about Optus. He's not saying one thing there about the F1, but it's pretty clear the things that are what defined him and what propelled him professionally. Maz Farley, I'm sure you all saw her at Canning Cairns. She's great crack. I looked up hers because she's such a presence on the stage. Hers was get interesting in capitals, kick-ass communication, so you and your media business have the X factor. And then the beautiful cascading of that into her summary, she's like, I don't do boring, I do impact. And then she talks about like the services that she can provide and what makes her so fantastic at her job due to her experience. So you can see how things should link. You've got Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. Love this statement, very short, very succinct. Founder of Spanx, my calling is supporting women. So not only does her product actually support women in terms of what the function of that product is, but also she's got 4 kids and she's a very big women's rights advocate. So you're seeing a little bit more about her than just what her job is. So I hope that gives you a little bit of food for thought for what you've got just underneath your profile picture, underneath your name. If you've got CEO, if you've got, senior manager at LinkedIn, it's not really going to help you stand out. It doesn't really tell the people who are going to be looking at your profile anything really about you, and they've got to go hunting for it. And everyone's on LinkedIn. I think we've got we must have nearly 17 million on the platform here on LinkedIn. So you've got to find ways to stand out. So that brings me to our first little bit here, which is the first exercise. I don't know if you've got your paper ready or if you've got that little printout ready, but we want to take 5 minutes to just think about your personal brand statement. Think about what you've got. If you're happy with what you've got, test it against these 4 pillars of brand statement that we have here. I've got it just right here. Think about when you're pulling this together. I think you have to figure out what expertise you provide, what the purpose of your experience is, who your audience is, and why you, to be able to help you craft that personal brand statement at the top. So take 5 minutes. You don't have to finish it at all. It's just so you can have a think about it. Could you improve what you've got? Are you happy with what you have? Just take 5 minutes to have a go at writing that out. And I'll come back in a couple of minutes.
Helen, can you use ChatGTP?
Hey, Sam. Absolutely. If it's going to help you get a little bit more creative. I think, Sam, yours is something like CEO of IMAA,
Very boring.
Which is absolutely fine if that's what you want to keep it at. But like, you're a big, vibrant personality in this industry. You could make that a little bit more punchy with like the things that you really care about, which is like advocating for the rights of the independent agency, things like that. So just have a think about it. I'll be quiet now and I'll come back in a couple of minutes. And if anybody wants to share, sort of where they've got to, brilliant. There might be a premium LinkedIn in it for you.
Oh, there's a carrot.
About a minute and a half left, everyone. All right, guys, we'll start to wrap that up. Anybody brave enough to share what they came up with?
I'll share.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'll come on camera, shall I?
Yes,
Hi,
please.
Helen. It's Elaine.
Oh, my favourite. How are you, my dear?
Good, thank you. So my camera's not showing for some reason, but
That's fine,
apologies
all
for that.
good.
So my bio statement is, because I'd love advice on this, because I've tried 100 versions of this and I never know if it's right. So like founder of the Wild Ones agency, attention strategist, building brands that win hearts, minds and market share as a bio. Honest feedback, please.
It's quite long.
Yes, yeah.
It's quite long, and that's okay if you want it to be long. It's still only really a couple of sentences max, but if you want it to be punchier, I think you could take one of those sentences.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Whichever you think is really going to represent you the most.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Read it out to me again.
So founder of the Wild Ones agency, attention strategist, because that's our agency promise, is actually getting attention for our clients. Building brands that win hearts, minds and market share.
There's something in the attention strategist, there's something in founder, and there's something in the last piece. It's a bit too long. I think you can make it
too long, so just narrow that down.
Like attention strategist, founder, so we can see your seniority, we can see like what your specialism is, and if there's one more thing about like you've got winning hearts and minds, but I think you could shorten and make that last little bit a bit punchier.
Yeah, okay, that's great feedback. Thank you.
And then you can put a lot of that stuff into your summary.
Yeah, I've got a summary, but it's obviously quite long. I probably won't bore you with that. I'll
no,
pass
that's all good. All right. Well, there's a premium coming your way, unless I already gave you one, Elaine.
No, you did not. So that's exciting. Thank you.
Okay, great. Sam, do you want to quickly go with what you came up with?
Yeah, I just it was just kind of built. I was kind of dancing around. Passionate advocate for Australian independent media agencies. Thoughts? Too wordy?
Too wordy. Needs to be punchier. Needs to be a bit punchier. Passionate. So what are you passionate about? What is it exactly?
It's Australian independent media agencies.
What about them?
Australian business. It's a support. Advocacy.
Yep. I think we can make it punchier, Sam. I think we can get a little bit more. I think we can get a little bit closer to the strength that you bring to it. Like passionate advocate, yeah, but it's like anyone who's looking at that around the world, they can go in and see the indies in there, but in your summary. But I definitely think you could make it a little bit punchier.
Okay.
And that's the first thing people say about you.
Yeah.
Underneath your name. Anyone else quickly wants to come off and share?
Helen, I've put something in the chat.
Hello, Gareth. I can't see it, I'm afraid. So
Okay,
Do share.
I'll read it. I know it's going to be a bit too long as well, but MD, building high performance teams and scaling global brands. 20 plus years in media, performance coach and qualified hypnotherapist. People are the differentiator.
I love your last line. People are the differentiator is awesome. I think it is a little bit too long, Gareth. Depending on what it is like exactly you want to portray, because you've got so many skills, obviously. But it's like at the heart of it, why do you love doing those things? All those things that you've just said. Why do you love doing them? What is it about you that makes you really good at those things? And then you can list a lot of that stuff in your about me, where you go into more detail.
Okay.
Because sometimes I think when people have got like, and I'll show you an example of this, someone has not got their personal brand right, but they've got the about me perfectly well done. Is that when people see like loads and loads of like slashes in the personal brand, it's like, I don't know what to look at. He's so accomplished. I don't know which ones are relevant to me. So I would think about shortening it down. I love that people are the differentiators at the back, because it speaks to the fact that you love to build and cultivate high performance teams, that you put people first, stuff like that. So keep noodling on it. Keep trying to make it shorter and shorter until you get to the bit. That's what you love about your professional career. That's a bit of you and no one else.
Gareth, are you a hypnotherapist? Is that true?
I am, sir. Yes.
Jesus
I
Christ.
I know.
So
I ran my own
interesting.
business. Ran my own business for about 3-4 years back in London.
Okay. We'll take that.
I met some interesting people, Sam. Some very interesting people.
Okay, awesome. All right, Gareth. I'm going to also get you a LinkedIn Premium as well. So thank you so much for sharing. Let's punch on. Very conscious of the time. So the next thing is, once you've got your personal brand sorted and you're happy with it, then everything should cascade off the back of that, right? From your profile picture right down to sort of how you set up your privacy settings. So I'm going to give you a bit of a crash course through this. Very, very happy to talk to anybody about it in more detail afterwards. So on the second little page that I've given you, you'll see that there's a crawl, walk and run slide on exercise 2. And this is just to help you tick off your profile and make sure that you've got all of these steps in place, because if you complete this, your profile, I think, is 27 times more recoverable, more discoverable, and 10 times more impactful. So let's go through it. The first thing, Pivotus. I don't know why Pivotus is there. Oh no, I can't see the pictures I have underneath this. I'm so sorry, guys. I know what this is. I had a picture of Michael on there, and it's blown up massively. Hold on, let me just see if I can just really quickly remove that. Let's just share it so you can actually see. Oh no, I'm sharing the wrong thing. One sec. Here we go. All right, first one is to take a good picture. Okay, really, really important. Members with profile photos receive up to 21 times more views and 9 times more connection requests. It would astound you how many people do not have a picture on their LinkedIn profile. It would astound you. And it would astound you even more some of the pictures that are not that great and they don't really pop off the screen. Sam, you've got a great one. Michael's got a great one. Jackie, really good one. They were just sort of the first 3 that I looked at. I popped myself up there as well, not because I think it's a really good photo, but I have had it for a while. I probably need to update it. And make it a little bit more recent. But I did that with my iPhone, that picture. I took it, made it black and white, added a quick filter, bang, Bob's your uncle, that did the job. So it doesn't need to be a professional photographer. It doesn't need to be anything really expensive, but you can do it quite simply. There's also like a service called Snapper, where you can get a photographer, a professional one, for $100. They'll come out to you, take your photo, and then you'll have it in your inbox in the afternoon. So you can also use AI as well. I haven't tried this one. I'm not brave enough to try the AI piece, but you upload however many shots and then it will give you 120 different variations of your face. So have a go. You can up-level your picture. It's worth it. It makes a big difference to people who are searching for you or potentially looking for you as a person to run their business moving forward. Have a good banner. That's the next one. Just make that profile, just round it out with having just, really clear imagery. It can either be you on stage showcasing something that you love to do. It can be pushing your brand like the wild ones. It could be just a really nice picture. I've just got a picture of Sydney Harbour on mine. I love that picture because I think it shows where I work, and I'm very proud to work in Australia. You can go onto Canva. They have 4,000 free LinkedIn banner designs that you can choose from, or you can obviously customize your own. Some great ones already up on the indie profiles that I looked at last night. The next one is this summary piece, and this is all about crafting your elevator pitch. Now, it doesn't need to be War and Peace. I would keep it punchy. I would go into the things that you think are really relevant and really important. And if you haven't gone back to update it in a while, really think about it, because if you haven't updated that for a couple of years, it's probably changed quite a bit from then when you think of all the new things that you've learned and all the new things that you've done. So focus on your career accomplishments and your aspirations. Keep it in the first paragraph, and keep it in the first person and put it into paragraph format, and you will see that works pretty well on there. If you have a summary of 40 words or more, it makes your profile more likely to turn up in search. And it is very important that you are fully discoverable on the platform, because you are in B2B and you do need businesses to notice you. Here's a really good about me statement. I didn't love his personal statement. I thought it was very long. Yes, incredibly accomplished, but you can see it's like, whoa, there's a lot there. Which one do I look at? What would be relevant for me? But the global team actually did pull out his about me statement as something that was really nicely done, because it conveyed what he was passionate about. So innovation's in my blood. It's authentic and personal to him, and it is beyond job title, right? It's what you're good at, what you love doing. It's great if you can use some of the experiences from your roles to show where you want to go and what you've already done. And he's also quite clever in that he's written it with key audiences in mind. So if you know where you want to go in your career and you know who you want to be talking to, for example, as an indie business, you want to be winning new business, you want to be talking to, I don't know, a particular brand or industry of a client, then you should really update that about me statement accordingly. Definitely if you're going in for pitches. So anyone who looks at you within that team, and we know there's target buyers and hidden buyers, they can quickly see the goods that you bring to the table. The fourth one is thinking about changing from connect to follow. So when you change from connect to follow, you go into your privacy settings, you can go in there and look at your visibility, and you can update that to show people they can follow with you. First of all, they can connect with you. They just need to click a button on the side and bring down the drop down, and they can also connect with you. But this is just a great way if you're trying to grow your platform and you're trying to grow with more people and find more of an audience and reach those people who you would like to do business with. And this is a really nice way of helping you sort of have control of how you curate your audience and have a little bit more control over those invitations that maybe you don't want or aren't relevant. So definitely think about that. And if you do those very simple 4 steps, your profile is all star, right? It's up to date, it's ready. Anyone who comes to your shop front will know exactly what you're about and what you bring to the table. Now, we have 15 minutes left, just under 15 minutes, and I just want to quickly go into representing your brand. Now, I know there's some of you on this call who are really, really good at this already. Keep doing what you're doing, especially around video. We're seeing massive uptick in video on the platform. I think we've 36% increase on there at the moment, and we're seeing a big groundswell of younger people on the platform, and we have now millennial and Gen Z. Is it Gen Z? Who are very much decision makers on the platform now as well. So definitely think about how you can employ video on there. But this is a really nice quote and a really good reminder that when you're on the LinkedIn platform, don't bother trying to be someone else, because everyone else is taken. Be yourself. Think about what you're interested in. Think about how you can bring more of your personal experiences to the content that you create around the things you're interested, because that is what helps you drive engagement. That is what helps people feel like they can relate to your content. And that's what helps people find out important information about your products that you sell and make them want to sell with you, because you're growing that trust and people believe what you say. So always be yourself. If you are going to try and write about things that you don't care about, you're going to find it really hard. It's going to feel like a task, and it shouldn't feel like a task. If you're in the boat where you're like, oh, I'm just not sure about putting myself out there are ways in which you can gently dip your toe in and have a go. The first thing to think about is how you can comment, and just like partake in professional conversation on the platform. You don't have to start, creating videos and pushing it out there. I would just like take my time, feel your way on the platform, follow people who you find really interesting and the topics that they talk about you're interested in, and begin to have conversations on posts. You don't even need to know the person. People are very happy to have respectful and professional conversations on there with anyone. But if you are going to comment on a post, make sure that you add a unique perspective, and make sure that you're asking a question or posing a different point of view. And if you do agree with it, why do you agree with it? So just like bring some value to the conversation, and slowly people to see, oh, look, Sam's got a point of view on that. I might just read it now because I love what he does on the platform. All right, curate is the next one. I might just pop someone on mute there. Curate is the next one. We're almost there, guys. I'm sorry, it's a roller coaster ride through, but this is a top line, sort of scratch the surface. And if we want to do another deep dive onto the actual content piece and creating, I'm so happy to come back and do that for anybody who wants me to. So we've talked about commenting. That's really dipping your toe in and starting from there. That's the base. And then you can move into curate. And if you don't want to write your own article just yet or create your own piece of video content, then this is a really great stepping stone where you are sharing really fantastic content. Very good for you to offer perspectives on that. So every time you share a piece of content, you should always put in the so what. Like, why should somebody read this article? Why do you think it's so good? Share your point of view. If someone starts a dialogue with you off the back of that, then absolutely respond to that and take part. It's all about respectful discussion. It's perfectly fine to disagree with people on there, and also really focus on those credible, high quality resources. And when you are sharing something out, make sure that you tag those people or you hashtag that so that you can pull in more people to that conversation. The last one is the create piece, and this is the bit that's been really changing on the platform for the last year, which is that video piece. You can write articles, you can do newsletters, you can post videos, you really can do whatever you want on there. But I would say think it through before you do it if you're going to do a video, because we want really good quality on there. And you don't want to just go straight from not doing all that much on the platform to then lots and lots of video content. I would build my way up to it and think about what resonates with you on the platform, what you find interesting, what do you not like on the platform. Like I saw Mark Ritson say he didn't like people doing videos where they're walking. That really bothered him on LinkedIn. So think about how you want to show up, what's authentic to you, and what you feel will work well. Think about real-time reaction or analysis to industry news. Like, what do we think about certain things? There's so much going on in our industry. There's never a dull moment. You can share your point of view and think about always adding in your hashtags. We say 3 is the magic number, and pulling in other thought leaders who you want to comment on this, bring into the conversation. So if you are posting about an article that you've done or a piece of video, ask a question in the little bit of text at the top as you share it. Ask a question, get people to engage with you. Video is, as I said, really taken off. I've got 2 really good examples here for you, 2 very different ways to do it. Salesforce have been doing a podcast. They record that on video and they share it on LinkedIn. I would say this is like your peak sophistication piece. It's very well produced. The content is very well planned, and it is their executive conversations. It's a series and it's very well planned out, and it's obviously got a marketing team behind it. Or if you're looking at just yourself and you want to grow your brand, you want to make yourself stand out in the platform, and you really are passionate about something and you've got something to say, think about a video series of your own, and it doesn't need to be high production at all. This is our COO. He does his own series about Think About It. It's just his thoughts on the fly. My old boss, Penry, who I loved, he used to do, in COVID, he used to do a video walking to work that he would share on LinkedIn, but I loved it because it was great to feel connected to the broader team while we were all a little bit isolated. So video is definitely resonating. It's definitely getting more engagement. If you're not there right now, not a bother, but do maybe think about it down the track. Now, this is the last bit that I've got for you. I don't have quite 5 minutes for you to think about it, to be perfectly honest. We've only got maybe a couple of minutes, but challenge to you all is to just take 2 minutes and think through something that you could post about this week. Now, again, I've mentioned, I know a lot of people are really sophisticated on this call. I know, Elaine, you've been doing video, think they're brilliant, keep going. But if you're not there yet, what is it? What's the right thing for you? Is that commenting? What are you going to comment about? What are you interested in? What do you want people to know about you? Just take 2 minutes and think about what that could be. And I will come back, and anybody who wants to share will also get a LinkedIn premium.
See, our Santa Monica, you've been too good to me. I'll make my mama proud. It's gonna cause a scene. She sees her baby girl. I know she's gonna scream. Darling, you're a pink pony girl. You there?
All right, everyone, about 30 seconds left. Think about that personal brand statement. Think about what you could share this week that aligns with that. If anybody wants to share, feel free. Right, and that is time up on that. Anybody want to share?
Someone's got to share.
Can be anything. It really can be anything.
Ellen, do you want me to jump in again? Sorry, I can jump in, but I know I've already spoken, so I don't want to hello, yeah, my camera's working. Amazing.
It's no bother. It's a safe space. Anybody can share, or it's also totally fine.
I don't want to take anyone else's space. That's all. So I'm actually working on something with a comms specialist at the moment, and so one of the things I'm working on, I'm going to share it this week. I've said I have to anyway. So is a letter to my younger self, which is all about looking back and getting some lessons. You know, how I've built up confidence through burnout, different things like that. And just tying that back to how I operate now as a person and as a business. And then just, how about, bravery is important, but looking at the things that I've kind of learned along the way and the people I've met. So that's just something I'm working on. I haven't got it written yet.
Yeah, that sounds really great. That sounds excellent. I am going to be going away for work in a couple of weeks to an event which I'm probably going to have to do quite a bit of posting about in the next week, just to sort of invite people to come along to it or meet me there. And then I'll there's a video booth that they're encouraging us all to make videos on. So I'm going to try and maybe do a video if I think I've got the right thing to say. So look out for that. I've said it out loud now. But just take your time and do what feels right for you. But I do love that, Elaine. I think that'll be really excellent, and make sure you chop that up and use it in a lot of different ways on your LinkedIn platform. Make it go further. But for those of you who are left, I know we don't have very much time left, but there are six things I want to take away as well to just help you as you start to do a little bit more on the platform, or you start to perfect what you already do. 6 things that the content team say you should really think about. So join existing conversations. Don't forget to use hashtags. 3 is the magic number. Enjoy the network effect. Mention people and companies, like, make sure you do that because it will make your content go a lot further. Capitalize on peak times. Everyone asks this question. When is the best time to post? It is literally right now. Tuesday, Wednesdays at 11 a.m. You've got heaps of people on there, super engaged. If you are writing something, you can absolutely get your network, your colleagues to post it and share it in real life. I've asked my team to do that for my posts, so I do it all the time. Plan ahead. This is something I really have to do in the next couple of weeks, is actually draft a couple of posts before an event so you can publish it in real time. This is what often trips me up. I will be somewhere really awesome. I'll take all the content, but then I'll get home and I'll be wrecked and I'll be like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And then I get really busy with work and then it's 2 days later and you've kind of missed that sweet spot. So do try and plan ahead if you can and be intentional, and then make your IRL meetings memorable. So connect with people straight after you have met with them on LinkedIn, and don't forget to add a personal note. That makes a big difference. So we don't really have a great deal of time for questions because we are right on time, but I will say, if anyone would like another session around the content piece and what's working and what some of your peers are doing, I'm quite sure Elaine would happily hop on a panel to discuss it. I've got Sam Conliffe who'd love to come and talk about what she's been doing and what she's been getting published in the trade presses as well. Very happy to do a more deep dive session on the actual content and sort of different voices or ways in which you can present yourself on the platform that feels right to you. But I've got loads of ideas. I know this was a bit of a crash course this morning, but hopefully it's given you some food for thought as to how you can up level. And I have a couple of premiums to go out to Elaine and Gareth. Hit me up for anything that you need afterwards. And all it remains for me to say is just a massive thank you for having us here today, and it's been lovely to come and present to you. So thank you.
Oh, Helen, that was wonderful. It was fast-paced. There were some really sharp things to take out from there. So thank you so much for that and your support. I think it would be really useful to have maybe another bit of a deeper dive, maybe in the new financial year. I think it's super helpful and such a powerful thing that people can do to grow their agencies and their own brand. So thank you so much for those insights. Really useful. Thank you, members, for tuning in, and we'll book Helen in for and the team in for another session in a couple of months to kind of scratch a little bit deeper into content and what that looks like.
Happy to
Thank
bring
you, guys.